Hello and welcome back to another video from Real Therapy Fishing.
Hi guys, today we're going to make a video about anchors. You might have seen last week's video where we were sitting out, weren't we, and we were drifting along, and the reason being we think is because of this anchor. We don't really know what it's from. We've acquired it somewhere. I think we probably picked it up at a boat jumble, didn't we?
Yeah.
But for some reason it just doesn't seem to hold us. The tides around Harwich are so fierce, aren't they? They really do get a really good pull. I mean, it sort of ended up being to our benefit last week when we were drifting along, and then I caught that skate. And I think that was probably a good thing. But generally, we want to be anchored to the seabed. Really, we don't want to be sort of mucking around. Really, so yeah, we're going to make a couple of different anchors. We're going to make one using a welder and the other one not using a welder. So there's two variations for you. We'll give it a go and see how we get on.
So the first anchor we're going to make is our homemade anchor, and it will look homemade. So the first thing we're going to need is the most expensive things you're going to need first is a drill, and you could get away with using a hacksaw, but we're going to use an angle grinder just because it's easier for us today, and we've got it available. So a drill, an angle grinder. You're going to need yourself a drill bit. This could be any sort of drill. We've got a 13mm drill bit, which should just be perfect for the threaded rod. So next we have a tri-square, which is going to measure our angles, and you'll see that later on. We've got two pieces of threaded rod. We might only end up using one today. I think all these pieces cost us about £7, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
For the two threaded rods and 10 nuts.
And what threaded rod is that? Is that 12mm we've got there, isn't it?
I think that's 12mm, yeah. Preferably would like a little bit thicker, but this is all they had in the hardware shop that was local to us at the time. We've got our burner, which is going to heat up the threaded rod and bend our angles. And lastly, but not least, we've got a tape measure and a Sharpie to cut and measure our angles. Finally, one thing I did forget to mention is we've got some scaffolding tube here that we're going to use for our main body for our anchor.
Okay, so Dylan's given me the task of making this one. He's the chief engineer in the family, so yeah, he's given me the easier one, so to speak. But I'll probably balls it up anyway. But anyway, yeah, we've decided we're going to measure this about. Do you say a foot?
Yeah,
we're going to do this at a foot. So I'm just going to put a mark there, just using the Sharpie there. And I'm going to cut that. You can use a hacksaw if you want. We've got an angle grinder, so that's what we're going to use. So I'm going to get my goggles on, and then we're just going to cut that off at a foot. So cut the tubing to a foot, or 30 centimetres, so to speak. The next stage is to, well, we're going to keep that for another project. I'll just put it over here out of the way, and then we can make probably get another 2 or 3 out of that even, Dylan, wouldn't we, if we wanted to. So if this works, which we think it probably will do, then great, we'll go ahead and probably make some more up. I mean, they're going to be handy for long lines or anything like that, wouldn't they? They'll be quite good. So yeah, these come in a metre length, so I'm going to cut these down in half. So 50. Okay, so where I've just cut these, I'm just going to neaten up the ends because they're obviously quite sharp. So I'm just going to do both of them. Okay. So we're going to drill a hole for the first threaded rod to go through. So we're just going to sort of mark it, I don't know, what's that, about a centimetre from the end?
Yeah.
So Dylan forgot to tell you that you need 2 more tools, a centre punch and a hammer, because otherwise you slip like I've just done. So we're just going to put a mark there, and hopefully this time So that's our first one, and we need to do one roughly opposite it. So I've done the first hole. I've just extended the drill bit out a little bit more so that we can reach through. And I'm gonna mark it with this one, roughly there, I think. I'll put some pressure on over the side of the table, and I'll put that hole through there. Just line that up roughly. I say it don't have to be too neat. It's not going to be very good, but okay. So, doesn't look very pretty, but I think it'll work when it's done. Right, I'm going to go through with the bigger drill bit now. Okay, so that's the first hole drilled. So that's going to go like that, and the other one now needs to go that way through. So what we're going to do is we're going to just drill a hole just slightly underneath that one for us to enable us to put that through. Alright, so we'll do that next. So I finally drilled the holes. It was a bit of a battle, but yeah, with the drill kicking and everything else, but we got there in the end. So as you can see, that's what we're looking for. What we're going to do now is we're going to thread the rod through. We're going to measure it so it's halfway. Feed the nuts on either side. We'll do this one first, and then we'll do the second one after. So what we've just come up with as well is we just thought about it, is we can put a trip onto this. So if I explain, we put the threaded rod through, and the chain, the main anchor chain that we're going to use, once we've bolted that up, that'll be on the bottom. We will need to drill a hole through the top here as well, and then we can put a cable tie on the top one, and we'll put a piece of threaded rod, just a small piece through there, and that will be able to connect to that as well, and then that will be our main breakaway. So we're going to put the nuts on this threaded rod now, with this in place, and then we'll carry on, and we're planning on bending this sort of 45, aren't we, on each corner. So we'll see. It looks a bit ropey at the moment, but I think once it's done, you'll be able to see what we're trying to achieve, and I think it'll be alright. I think it'll look quite good. So as you can see, I've threaded the nut that side, and I've threaded a nut on that side. It's roughly, was it 9 inches, wasn't it?
9 inches.
Yeah, so it's roughly 9 inches each side. It doesn't have to be exact, but you want to try and get it as near as possible. We've decided just to put one nut on each side at this stage. I think once we've tightened it up, it'll be okay. But if these, if it becomes loose or anything, then you could even just thread another nut on there. If not, bit of thread lock. Obviously we're lucky we've got the welder. If we wanted to, we just dab a little bit of weld on there, but this is a project without using a welder, so this is what we want to do. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten these 2 nuts up, and then we'll put the other section in. Try and get it as tight as I possibly can without sort of, well, I don't know, I was going to bend that anyway. I thought I might have bent that pipe, but no chance. I don't think it was hard enough to try and drill through it, wasn't it? But, so that's our first one done. So now we've got to that stage, we're now going to put the second bar through. And again, a nut on each one. So that's our 2 bars put through. We're now going to put another small section for the top end in here. So I'm going to mark it again about 1 centimetre down, I think, and I'll drill that through. We'll put another piece of threaded rod through and we'll get back to you then. So as you can see, I've put another bolt through the top there, and the idea is we've put the cable tie around that bolt and then to the main chain. So if the anchor gets stuck on the seabed, we can just pull that and it will hopefully just come free. Well, it will come free. I can't quite pull it enough to break it now to show you, but I think that'll be absolutely fine. So we're just taking the chain out for now, just to do this bit here that we want to do. We're not taking it out, we're just taking the trip bit off, but that was just to show you what we're going to do. We're now going to heat up this small section here. I think we've measured at 8 centimetres, haven't we? So 8 centimetres, we're going to heat up this bit here, and then Dylan's going to come in with a little bit of tubing that we've got, and we're just going to put a slight bend to them. So I'm just going to heat this up a bit.
Give that a try.
Lovely, it's 45, that'll do, that'll do. Yeah?
Yeah, perfect. Come level one with that as well.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely, look at that. Looking good.
Yeah, it is.
Perfect. So I'll put a cable tie back in there again just to show you it's finished. We've bent them up. They look pretty good. And we've made a good homemade anchor. We've took the chain off of the other anchor that we had, the original one. And as you can see, it's got a bit more, looks a bit more meaty, doesn't it, this one, Dylan, than this one. So we can put that to the side, use that for another project, and that's basically it. Hopefully that'll work. We'll let you know, because next time we go out on the little boat, we'll be using this. And obviously it doesn't look that pretty, but you can also actually, come to think of it, you don't need to heat these up so much and do what we've done. You could literally just sort of arch them round, bend them round once they're on there, put a bit of pressure on, and you just have a sort of a, you know, a half moon shape, so to speak. We just decided to do it like that. It looks a bit neater, doesn't it, really? And that's it. That's that one done.
Right, so I'm going to film my segment now of doing my anchor. If you have got a welder, it really is dead simple. Going to need a wire attachment for your angle grinder. Obviously an angle grinder with a cutting disc, a blowtorch to heat up the metal, glove and a welder. That's it. So you can make the middle section of the anchor with whatever metal you decide to make it out of. I'm going to make it out of this thicker rebar, but you can make it out of inch by inch box section, scaffolding tube like we've done before on the other anchor, or anything else you decide. So I'm going to mark these ones, this anchor, up at 18 inches. Our angle grinder with our cutting blade on. Always use goggles. the other thing you're going to need is road pins. You can use road pins or you can use anything else. If you've got another piece of metal that you think will work, then use it. We're just using road pins today. The plan is to weld these on here straight, like so, and then we're just going to bend them over so you've got our hook shape. It's most important when you're welding to keep your material nice and clean, because you get a good contact. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wire wheel all of these to get all the rust off and all the dirt off. So that's what we're looking for. Nice clean metal, ready to be welded. So I'm going to cut these to size now. So what I've done here is I've clamped it up, so it's already ready, all set in a jig. So I'm just going to tack it for now, and then we'll go on to the next process. So I've tacked it, I've got it all straight, it's all where it's got to be. So I'm going to weld it fully now, all the way across. There you go, that's what we're looking for. The weld straight across. Right, so I've just clamped this next one in position. I've clamped it almost like a Mercedes badge. So they're offset, so when it goes into the water, no matter what way it lands, it should land upright, which means you should hold the seabed.
Do you just wait for them welds to cool down, Dylan, before you go again, or?
Yeah, you can do, or you can quench it.
That's what you've done, isn't it?
Which is what I've done, yeah, I've quenched it in water, which cools them down so you can work with it a bit easier. Yeah. You should really let them cool down, but if you're at home it doesn't really matter. Now I'm just going to tack this last one on in the Mercedes triangle, and then I'll show you it. There we have it, the 3 spikes welded. So you will need the link for this one. We ain't going to do a breakaway on this one like Dad's one. This one's just going to be a straight through anchor, because if you lose it, you lose it. It's only a couple of quid. So we're going to put a D-shackle on the end here, and we're going to weld this in position so our chain can go on here and connect up to our boat. So there we have it. I've just tacked it on because that's plenty strong enough, and that'll hold it ready for our chain to connect onto it. Right, so the plan is, as I'm heating this up, is I'll heat the top one up first, and then I'm going to bend these out at 90 degrees because we're completely double the welding now. It's all complete. Bit more?
Bit more, right?
Lovely.
That's it.
That's what we're aiming for. And there we have it. Our finished, turned out anchor.
Very nice. I suppose if you wanted to put a breakaway thing, you could put another one of the D shackles on the bottom.
Yeah, you could weld another one on if you wanted to make a breakaway. But this is just another anchor just to hold our small boat, so we're not too worried about this one. This one's fine without a trip.
So guys, finished articles. That's the non-welding one that I made earlier.
And this is the welding one. This one's more of like a grapnel anchor, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. I mean, it's...
I suppose they're both grapnel
well,
anchors.
they are really, yeah. I mean, they've both got a bit of weight to them, haven't they?
Yeah.
Especially for, I mean, our dinghy's 10 foot. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take them both. Next time we go fishing, we'll take them both with us. And we'll,
Test
you know,
them out.
give them a little test. Not really a review, but we'll give them a test. And if we have any problems, we'll let you know. If not, then brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, so how long does that take us to make them?
Probably that one half an hour, would you say?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
This one about 10 minutes, I reckon.
Yeah, not long at all for that one.
As long as you've got all your gear set up, you're alright. And I think this one here, the only thing we've had to pay for is the D-shackle. And that was about £2 to £3, say.
Yeah.
Proper
cheap, that one, wasn't it? Proper
yeah,
cheap.
this one here is pretty good because you get whatever scrap you've got laying about, you can pretty much make an anchor out of, really.
Definitely, yeah. And this one, probably under a tenner, wouldn't you say?
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah.
The threaded rod, bits and pieces like that.
We already had the scaffold pole, didn't we?
Tubing and the chain,
You know, the chain was already off the old anchor. So, yeah, 2 anchors. Made in, yeah, what, an hour and not even that. Yeah. Job done.
So, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to click like and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
See you later, guys.